Friends Crossing Race. This is the second time I'm in America. I went there once in high school with a short study tour program that lasted for 2 weeks. I can never forget the feeling of being in another world since it is so different from my home country, China. When I found my life in Chinese university is like a pool of stagnant water, I decided to try something new. I submitted a full grade transcript and asked my parents to give me a chance to go abroad for the next 2 years study. After I came to America, the multicultural country, the most confusing besides study is how to make friends from time to time. The easiest way is making friends with people who are in the same race, who you are familiar with. But does that really work for me? How can I broaden my horizon and integrate into the local society if I only associate myself with familiar people? Over the past 2 decades, the people I had access to were too homogeneous. I was confined to a similar information cocoon, which means trapping in a lot of same information all the time. For now, I can meet people from different countries who can puncture my information cocoon. How could I pass up this chance to come out of my comfort zone and be exposed in a vast new world? At first, I was a little bit afraid to make friends with foreigners, like a snail which hid in its shell so carefully. There were too many arguments from negative people online who would like to say you cannot get along with foreigners. In their opinions, skin color and cultural background seem like a huge rift valley between human beings where you can never cross. I'm glad I'm not the obedient type. I will know what's on the other side only if I use my own feet to cross the big valley. Snails always extend their antennas, just like how I made up my mind to make friends across countries, across colors, across everything. No. It was a sunny and warm afternoon. The breeze was blowing. The huge floor to ceiling windows were bursting with light and shadows. I was sitting in a coffee shop when I saw her walk in. After ordering a cup of matcha, she sat alone at the bar and seemed a little embarrassed. She turned her head and looked around, and at that moment we locked eyes. She was a pretty white girl with curly brown hair and light colored brown eyes. She was wearing a black hoodie and dark skinny jeans. Her eyes sparkled in the 5 o'clock afternoon sun. She smiled. At that moment I knew she was the friend I was looking hard for. I whipped at her and said, "Hey, do you want to sit here with me?" Then I saw surprise and joy in her eyes. She immediately said yes. The strained air melted in our laughter, and conversation between us happened so easily and naturally at that time. Even though we have different skin colors, different cultural backgrounds, we found so many similarities between us. We both don't like sweet food, neither of us has siblings, and so on. There were so many differences. She was amazed by my outgoingness and enthusiasm. I appreciated her gentleness and tolerance. I only used English to speak for 2 weeks, but she said, "Talking to you is like talking to any other person here." That was the first time I realized I could use a second language to deliver my thoughts, and I understood the feelings of other people. I was embarking on the way to the huge rift valley. I grabbed the rock piece by piece. I climbed the mountain step by step, and a whole new world expanded in front of me. When I first came here, I skimmed through the comments and wondered if people from other countries would like me or get along with me, which trapped me in an invisible cage. That girl inspired me to realize an important reality. What people really cared about was your shining soul and golden heart. The inner things are more valuable than the outer components such as color or race. Yes, there was still labels on me: transfer student, Asian girl, yellow skin, but before all of that was being me. I am the most important component of myself. When I eventually reached the other side and looked over, I found surprisingly that there was never a rift valley, only colorful streams converging and pouring into the vast ocean. People of different races can certainly be close if you, through all the worries, enjoy this world bravely and firmly. There is a psychological term called herd behavior, which means social behavior that can be broadly defined as the alignment of the thoughts or behaviors of individuals in a group without centralized coordination. Voting, demonstrations, sporting events, and religious gatherings are all forms of human based herd behavior. I want to know if there's a relationship between herd behavior and making friends. That's my whole story. Thanks for your watching.